G'day there guys, Markee here, and welcome back to another episode of Best of Redditor Updates. Hope you enjoyed today's bloody good stories, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, let's get right into it. Posted by user Much Obligation 7295, this one's titled, Am I the asshole here for refusing to give my mother-in-law money and saying she isn't my responsibility? So as the title goes, my mother-in-law asked me for money and I said no. But for more context, I'm a single mum with a 4-year-old child. My husband died about 2 years ago. My mother-in-law G and her mother Gigi are the two others in this story. I work part-time and I do side gigs as a way to live. The part-time job didn't pay me end of January, but that's not what this post is about. However, because of this, I am behind on a lot of payments. They said they'll pay me end of February for everything. I've gone to some desperate measures to make money. The side gigs have been slow and sorta non-existent so far, and I have very little money at the moment. My mother-in-law G is divorced, in her 60s, and lives with her 80-year-old mother. G has a habit of asking for money for, in order, doctor visits, medication, medical items, food. Granted, she is very sick. She's on oxygen 24/7. Her lungs are failing, and she is morbidly obese. In the past, I used to help when I could, but I can't anymore. They still hate me for that. I'm reminded of it constantly. I also suspect that she's addicted to painkillers. The problem is that G and Gigi always have a fridge and freezer stocked full of food. They buy jumbo shampoo bottles and have 3 in the house at all times. They both get a pension. They are certainly making more money than I am. They depend on government healthcare, which, while not the best, still provides what they need. Gigi owns the house they live in and a car. This morning, G calls me to ask for money for a doctor visit. Note that they have a car and both can drive, and Gigi's mother always ensures that it's at least 50% full. It's just who she is. Gigi doesn't want to take G to the doctor, and now it's my problem. I'm not even asked to take her. I'm just asked for money for an Uber and snacks and whatever else G wants. So I say no, sorry, I can't help. I don't have money. She then proceeds to yell at me about how I'm disrespecting her for not helping, and even went as far to say that I need to take my kid out of daycare to give G the money. And then Gigi gets on the phone and tells me that it's time for you to be a responsible daughter and to take care of G. I asked her how exactly that works, since she isn't even my biological mother. And then Gigi gets on the phone and tells me it's time for you to be a responsible daughter and take care of G. I asked her how exactly that works, since she isn't even my biological mother. Boy, did Gigi lose it. Yelled at me about how I should take care of G because Gigi already gave her away when she got married 40 years ago. I said, Gigi, I didn't birth G. She isn't my responsibility, and she isn't even my mother. I will never take her in and take care of her, and they need to stop asking me for money when they have more than I do, and even have more food than I do. I ended the call. Since then, G has been calling me all sorts of terrible things, and said she can't see how her perfect son married a little toxic female dog like me. And then her other kids got involved and said that I'm abandoning them all. So am I the asshole here? Should I make a plan to get her the money? In the comments, Visual Lobster says, quote, then her other kids got involved and said I'm abandoning them all. Not the asshole. Oh, no, her other children can give her money if they are so invested. OP replies, I was thinking about that too, but the one son called me when I cut them off financially and yelled at me that I'm now putting him in financial trouble. Darling, you are in financial trouble. You are only responsible for your child and yourself. Don't let them make you think otherwise. OP says, that's my thoughts too, but I'm not sure if I lost my mind thinking that. Tarot Admirable replies, you have not lost your mind, but you will if you do not cut contact. Just block them. And I don't think she ever needed money for medical appointments. It's entirely possible that she has Medicare and Medicaid, making her visits free. Your life will be fine without them in it. Better, in fact. OP replies, we don't live in the US, but where we live, we can get free medical care, even if it isn't great. Taro replies to OP, Also, clearly she isn't using the money for appointments. She's using it to stock her fridge and buy whatever else she wants. And now for the update. So some things have come up. 1. I'm not in the US. 2. My husband died 2 years ago. 3. I was mostly talking to them because my husband loves them very much and I wanted to honor that. As many suggested, I did an Uno reverse on them. I called them to ask them for help on paying rent, since I'm still behind on it and my landlord is an asshole. But they told me that it was what I deserved for being so selfish. I have since blocked them and brother-in-law. I'm so hurt. My own parents are either dead or don't care. I have no one to turn to. I'm alone with my kid now. I will likely lose our home and will sleep in the car for a few nights, and I'll try to get a new place to live once I've been paid. Thank you to everyone who has reached out. I've read every response. I didn't expect it to become as popular as it did. I appreciate everyone telling me that I'm not crazy and giving me the strength to cut them off. And I'm glad you took the advice from all of your community, OP. The way that they were talking, you were never really family to them, you were more like a wallet. And the second that you actually needed help, where were they? Where'd they go? Oh, can't help you, sorry. That would be below us as a family unit to help you out. I don't blame you for blocking them. And I think you honored your husband by trying to maintain a relationship with his family. That's what anyone in a situation like this would want to do, even if they're treating you like shit. It's natural to want a community. And I mean, we see it time and time again. You can say, oh, you shouldn't have to deal with people that treat you like shit. Don't tell people to do that, Markee. I can tell them to cut their toxic family off until the cows come home. It's not going to happen in real life. But yeah, you reaching out to your family to ask for rental help, their response was so cruel, like genuinely actively cruel. They rejected you the moment you stopped being useful and came up with some bullshit excuse for it. Right now, just focus on survival and stability for you and your child. Protect your energy, protect your money, and protect your housing. And anyone else who adds stress without offering you any support has no place in your life, OP. Good luck. Our next post is by user RichMirror2194, and it's titled, Am I the asshole here for not attending my sister-in-law's wedding after her and my mother-in-law ruined mine? I, late 20s female, have been with my husband for 7 years, and we got married 9 months ago. I've known his sister Lauren for over 10 years, and we were actually friends before I ever dated her brother and met him through her. Our relationship's always been a bit unstable in my opinion. Publicly, she's affectionate and calls me her sister, but privately, the dynamic has often felt tense and competitive with both her and my mother-in-law. Conversations tend to revolve around her, and I've often felt an underlying sense of comparison rather than genuine support. I've always tried to keep the peace, because family is important to me. I'm generally easygoing and non-confrontational, and if I hurt someone, I apologize quickly and I try to resolve things. Over the years, my husband's grown more confident in setting respectful boundaries, and I sometimes feel that that shift has caused friction within his family. There's been several moments that made me uncomfortable. For example, my sister-in-law and I used to do Bible study together at my house, just the two of us. During one conversation, she admitted that she feels jealous when other people experience God's love and wishes that she could have it just for herself. That comment really surprised me and made me realize how strongly comparison seems to affect her mindset. When she got engaged, I fully celebrated her. Around the same time, and about 2 months before our wedding, my husband and I upgraded my engagement ring when we got our wedding bands, something we'd already planned long before. She accused us of only doing it because she got engaged, which wasn't true. Things escalated during our wedding planning. She redirected conversations to herself, was disengaged during dress shopping, she wore white to my bridal shower, and we even moved our wedding date, affecting 80 guests to accommodate her work schedule. The biggest issue involved the flowers. My mother-in-law is a professional florist and offered to do them, and we paid her like a normal client. I trusted her and changed multiple ideas based on her feedback. She and my sister-in-law refused to show previews, and the day before the wedding, they revealed arrangements that looked completely different from what we agreed on. Think dead, dried leaves and separate wooden structured arches for my husband and me. When my husband calmly questioned it, my mother-in-law called us ungrateful. We went to bed crying the night before our wedding. On the day itself, both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were visibly cold. Guests noticed the tension, and my sister-in-law even threw her bridesmaid gift in the trash. My husband tried to make peace that morning, but she refused. It's now been a year, with no apology, accountability, or attempt to repair the relationship, and we've had no contact since the wedding. My sister-in-law is getting married this weekend, and my husband doesn't want to attend because he no longer feels respected or emotionally safe around them. I support his decision, but now we're questioning ourselves. Am I the asshole for not attending her wedding after being no contact for 9 months, and after how things unfolded during ours? In the comments, Summertime Living says, "It's your husband's mother and sister. If he doesn't feel emotionally safe and respected and doesn't want to attend the wedding, I wouldn't fully support him. It's especially painful that his own mother chose to ruin your wedding with the flowers. That would be a deal breaker for me. You've tried to find out what went wrong and make peace, but unfortunately, mother-in-law and sister-in-law have chosen to take this path against both of you. You don't need to engage with either of them just because they are family members." Knickers says, "If you paid for the flowers, you should sue under breach of contract. She didn't give you what you wanted." But no, not the asshole. Important Energy says, quote, "Bible study together at my house, just the two of us. During one conversation, she admitted that she feels jealous when other people experience God's love and wishes she could have it just for herself. It's always funny in a cringy way when folks wrap themselves up in the Bible and act so contrary to its teachings. Your sister-in-law is one of those insatiable attention whores. Clearly, she was taken off the proverbial nipple way too soon and simply cannot get enough now. And your mother-in-law, who charges their family for wedding stuff and then fails to deliver on what the customer approves, and then has the audacity to tell them that they don't appreciate it. Appreciation is reserved for those that offer themselves freely, not charge for it. I wouldn't just not attend her wedding, I would back away from these people with everything. They are twisted and frankly worthless." And now to the update. Thank you to every person who has been so kind. We've stuck with our decision not to go. The wedding is today in another city, 8 hours away, so it's definitely too late now. Honestly, when we were invited, via email, to the wedding all those months ago, we didn't respond to the RSVP because we didn't even expect to be invited, and everything was still so raw. We unfortunately also live on the family's farm, so suing isn't an option. We also have young kids involved, so we don't want it to get any uglier than it has. We've decided to just take care of ourselves and our portions of the farm that we pay for. Sister-in-law doesn't pay at all, and pretend that they don't exist for now. We have our little family, and that's what matters most to us. Not the arsehole, OP. You done good in this situation. I think you handled this the only way that really keeps your sanity intact. What an insane bunch of individuals. I think you've been no contact for months now, there's been zero accountability, and showing up would just cause a lot more stress and tension than it's worth for everyone. And yeah, living on the same family farm makes it a lot trickier. I couldn't agree more. I can't imagine what it's like having sister-in-law live in such close proximity and you guys being like stuck there with her. I hate that. I hate that a lot. That feels like my personal hell to be stuck in a situation like that. I think it's also worth noting that they invited you by email and then never followed up with that. So I think for them it was more like they did it out of obligation and there was no genuine reconciliation ever intended. Because if they truly wanted to repair this relationship, that conversation would have happened long before the wedding day. I agree with your approach in this update. I think protecting your home environment and your kids will always come first. Good luck with it, and thank you for the update. Our next post is from a throwaway account from the r/relationship subreddit, and it's titled, "I, 30 male, hate my girlfriend's 27 female online persona, even though I love her. I love my girlfriend. We've been together for about 8 months, and we have a great relationship, blah blah blah." Oh my god, they said the lines. He said the line, this is gonna be sick. Her online social media personality is just unbearable. If you Google list of most annoying social media habits, she pretty much does every single one. She's a rampant social media oversharer. Her Snapchat documents every remotely interesting thing that happens to her every day, from pictures of her breakfast, to mirror selfies, to funny stories about her day. At night, after being apart for 12 hours, she will begin to tell me about her day, and I find myself saying repeatedly, "Yeah, I saw that on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram already." Every, even remotely interesting thing that happens to her, I find out about through social media. Her Facebook is full of rants detailing the ups and downs of her mood, or humble brags about all the good deeds that she has done, while her Instagram is all pictures of herself. She is the definition of a social media attention seeker. Between Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and her blog, she probably posts 20 times a day. My friends and family who meet her in person all say that she's sweet, kind, and funny. But once they start following her social media accounts, they all say that she seems kind of irritating and vain. In the beginning, I tried to just accept her online persona. To each their own or something, but it's becoming increasingly a point of contention. If I only knew her from her online personality, I frankly wouldn't like her. But I know that she isn't actually like that. I think she's just insecure and likes the attention because in person, she's actually a very sweet girl. The other interesting thing is that she's not always been like this. In the beginning of our relationship, she had no Snapchat, no Instagram, and barely posted to Facebook. This all started rather suddenly 4 months into the relationship, and I don't know how to stop hating it. I don't know how to explain to her that her social media postings make her appear cocky, vain, rude, and selfish, and I don't think mesh with her own impression of how she is. Additionally, I find that her constant social media life updates have taken away my feeling of significance in her life. I do feel like any person who follows her accounts now know about as much about her life as I do. I've tried to bring up this subject with her recently, and I find her becoming very defensive about it. I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to control her, which I think is how it sounds. She wants me to just accept this as a part of her. She says that it's just social media. It's not that serious, and she doesn't know why I'm making such a big deal of it. And maybe she's right, but I don't know how to get over this. In the comments, Not Toasted Strudel says, "Stop following her social media accounts." OP says, "I'm not sure if that's the best or worst advice ever, but I like it either way." Sajida Music replies, "It's excellent advice. Tell her that you feel like you're living in a constant spoiler alert and you want to hear about her day when she tells you about it instead of on social media." Mogmog says, "Next she'll start complaining that you're not liking her posts." OP says, "That's happened already." OP adds how it's affecting her professional life. "Colossal waste of time" is basically exactly how I feel about it all. And it makes it hard for me to sympathize with her when she starts talking about how busy, or stressed, or tired she is, because I can see that she has Snapchatted 20 times during the day instead of getting work done. And she isn't a student, but her job is a freelance gig that she does from home, so yes, she does use it as an easy distraction when she is stressed. And now for the update, which was posted a week later. Here's the maybe not expected update. I decided to go with the ignorance is bliss approach. I deleted Snapchat, deleted Instagram, and followed her on Facebook. She noticed right away. Like, immediately. It was actually a little scary. She was really confused at first and asked what was up. It gave me the opportunity to reiterate that reading her constant social media updates made me uncomfortable and unhappy. I explained that I've tried to discuss it with her before, but she became really defensive. So this was the only way. She seemed to accept this for about a day, and I felt so much better, so much lighter. But the peace was short-lived, and she quickly became enraged. She was furious that I didn't discuss this with her before doing it, and in her eyes, I took a pretty drastic step without talking to her first. While I understand her point of view, I stand by my decision. I'm sure that she would have been just as mad if I'd actually given her all my reasoning beforehand. Our fighting spiraled unexpectedly out of control. She was fixated on the idea that her social media persona wasn't that bad. It was part of her personality, and she needed someone who loved all of her. She did not accept my actions as constructive criticism, but instead as a direct insult. Simply just ignoring that part of her was an unacceptable compromise. I sent her an article that highlighted why her postings make her appear really self-absorbed, but her response was, "Is that really so bad?" She was too stubborn to even admit that being self-absorbed was a negative quality and instead delivered a long, pointless diatribe on why selfishness and vanity are positive qualities. We argued for a few hours and ultimately decided that we were not compatible. This was unexpectedly important to her, and I was unable to just stop hating her social media persona. So we broke up. Thanks, Reddit. In the comments, Horatio says, "I had a friend for a long time, or so I thought, and I eventually became uncomfortable with their online posting, and they were constantly reblogging. It's fine to unfollow people. You don't need to follow everyone. Never let yourself be guilted into following people. So I thought that it would be okay if I unfollowed them." Readers, they were not okay with me unfollowing them. Sorry that this guy had the same type of situation happen. It sucks. Pepcorn replies, I've experienced a similar situation. Apparently they mean it's only okay for them to unfollow others, or they figure that no one would ever want to unfollow their perfect account. Afterwards, I stopped unfollowing people since apparently a social media follow can be mandatory for a friendship to continue. It was a great day when my social media account introduced a mute button. Now I follow everybody and I don't see anything they post. My feed is all pet accounts. Dark Sword says, quote, "She says it's just social media, it's not that serious. She was furious that I didn't discuss with her before doing it, and in her eyes, I took a pretty drastic step without talking to her first." Interesting how it is that serious all of a sudden. I think personally this is kind of like that analogy of a frog in a slowly boiling pot. Obviously we've gotten to the point where there is irreconcilable relationship differences, and by the sounds of it, OP got together with his girlfriend while they both shared many relationship values that were both in line with each other. But over time, they have changed as people, and by the sounds of it, she's changed for the worst. So much so that it has now turned into the boiling frog analogy, where I think it's healthy for OP to have gotten out of there because you genuinely would go crazy having to live with someone that you all of a sudden now probably hate to be around, and who embarrasses you to your friends and family. I wouldn't want to stay with someone like that. I'm going to say not the asshole for this one, because I kind of think that she's an asshole for her reaction to all of this, and just refusing to see where OP is coming from. I understand where she's coming from, but I think her inability to even process anything coming out of OP's mouth makes her an unbearable asshole. Clearly, her online persona matters to her. It's just that, hey man, a huge part of how you choose to present yourself online is really unpalatable for a lot of people. It's not just some small hobby that you can ignore. It sounds like it's become her other half. It is a part of how she expresses herself and how she gets validation and connection. OP, you tried the healthiest compromise available in this one, which was just removing yourself from it. Like the comments said, I think that's more than reasonable, but her reaction was so over the top. It makes sense, because being unfollowed by your partner can feel like rejection, even if the intent is just, hey man, I'm going to step back because you're doing too much, but I don't want to control you. I disagree with how she handled it entirely. As I said, irreconcilable relationship difference, relationship values no longer in line. He wanted privacy and separation between real life and the internet, but she wants a partner who embraces her public persona and need for attention. With the way these two were going, it was only a matter of time. Thanks for the update, OP. Our next post is from r/relationship advice, 2 years ago, deleted account, titled, "Do I, 50 male, allow family that kicked me out at 18 back into my life? My wife, 48 female, thinks I should." Holy cow. Never in my dreams would I have thought that I would be the guy posted on Reddit asking for advice. I normally tend to lurk and offer occasional advice, but this one I might need external opinions from. So a bit of backstory. I'm a twin, and when I was born, I hadn't developed my lungs fully, so I had to stay in the hospital for quite a while. And due to this, I had a lot of developmental and emotional issues, dyslexia and anger issues. Now, I don't know if this is the reason, but I believe so, that because of these issues, I was treated poorly by my family, like I was somehow a burden on them. Not to say that they were abusive, but the neglect I received was a lot. For an example, on our birthdays, I would ask for something and my brother would get it instead. One year I asked for a boombox, not a big one, but a smaller one. They were all the rage in the 80s. But instead, my brother got it. Borat moment. I get a window in a glass, he get a window in a glass. I get the clock radio he cannot afford. Great success. Christmas came around, asked for a remote-controlled car, brother got one. I was told due to funds that I had to wait until after first of the year. Never happened. So basically, got nothing but clothes for Christmas, while my twin got toys. I tried for years to show that I was as good as my brother. He was always good at school, while I, of course, struggled. In 6th grade, I worked hard to make sure that I got good grades and all Bs, which was good for me. And they said, "Oh, nice, your brother got all As." I think it was around this point that I realized where I stood. I was just a roommate that they had to take care of, and nothing more. So, as a kid, I figured that if I can't get attention for positive things, then I'll do whatever, and if I get in trouble, at least they would be forced to pay attention to me. Which is not the brightest idea, but when you're 11 to 12 years old, what do you expect? When I turned 18, shortly after graduating high school, I was met at the door with a bag of clothes. I was told that I had to go, that they did their job, and I needed to leave. I asked what about my brother, and they stated he was going to be somebody as he was going to college, whereas I struggled in school. So clearly I was going to be a bum. To tell you the truth, I was ready to go anyways. I already knew how they felt, so this didn't even bother me. I grabbed my bag, my mum tried to hug me, but I ignored it and walked out the door, never looking back. It took a while for me to get on my feet. Nowhere to go, no place to sleep, not a penny to my name. But I did have some friends to rely on, at least temporarily. Fast forward a few years, and I meet my wife while I was working at a gas station. We just clicked. A few years later, we got married. We built a home together, something that I never really had growing up. Back in 2005, we had a baby girl, and 2 years later, a boy. From my perspective, my life is perfect. Family, home, and a great job in IT. That was until yesterday. I received a phone call from my mum telling me that my dad passed away, and that she and the family would hope that I could make it to the funeral. Mind you, I don't know how she got my number, but she probably got it from my brother, but I was shocked to say the least. I told her that I was busy working, which I was, 12-hour shifts of fun, and would let her know later. She started to say something to the effect that they missed me and would like to be a part of my life or something like that, but I hung up. Kinda rude, I know, maybe even asshole-ish, but from my perspective, I haven't heard a word from these people in 32 years, so why would I give them any more of my time? I told my wife, and although she knows about my family, she thought that it would be the right thing to do, seeing that my mum reached out to tell me where she could have just not told me, that they are family and probably feel bad and want to reconnect. Mind you, my wife has a big family, and they've always treated me like family, so her view of a family is different than mine. However, as far as I'm concerned, I already have my family. Those other people are former roommates, that I have no obligation to anyone but those who I care about and who care about me. Wife and kids. I get it, my wife loves me and is thinking of me and how I might regret not going, but it just seems like they know that dad is gone and life is short, so now guilt is creeping in and they don't want to die with that guilt. I mean, do I go at the wife's suggestion and be miserable being around people that I learned to let go of and not care about in order to look like a better person? Or do I stay home and continue to live my life, putting my own family first and ignoring those people? I guess asking those that have gone no contact with their family, if they let them back in, was it worth it? Or did it backfire in your face and something you wouldn't ever do again or suggest to others? Additional info. Mind you, I live in Florida, and they probably are all still in California. So that would be a long trip, and I'm not sure worth it. As far as my twin, we don't talk. Not that we hate each other, we just walked different paths in life. I get/send the occasional Christmas card, but that's it. Unless a miracle has happened, my mum's probably still the self-centered person that she's always been. She always wanted to be seen as the good person by family and friends. Editor's note, OP made a lot of responses in the original post. I'm listing the common questions asked and the responses. So here are some of OP's relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, your mum is not reconnecting out of any kind of desire or care about you. She probably has extended family who she's hidden this from, and she doesn't want to deal with questions about why you're not there. And that's probably something that your wife doesn't understand about narcissists. It's never about anybody else but themselves. Whatever reason she has for contacting you, it's for her benefit, not yours. OP says, damn, it feels like you know her. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one thinking this. Thanks for commenting. OP on his mother trying to take credit and doing everything right because of his life. Knowing her the way I did back then, you're probably 1000% right. Most people like her don't change their colors. Is it true that because of them, I learned the hard way? Sure is. But it wasn't the caring way. It was a cruel way to teach me. But I'm not a better person because of them. I'm a better person in spite of them. I worked my ass off to create the family that I deserved. And I'll never give credit to anyone but myself and the wife. Commenter 2 says, they neglected and emotionally abused you all your life. Do what's best for you. Your wife can't possibly understand. OP says she doesn't and thinks it's hard for people who come from loving homes and families to understand bad ones. But she's coming from a place of love, and for that, I'm grateful to have such a caring wife. Commenter 3 says, usually when someone who ignored you for 32 years contacts you, they want something. Your mother didn't want you. She kicked you out the moment she could, and now comes calling? She probably figured out that you're doing well for yourself and wants you to do something for her or wants access to your kids. Either way, I would block the number. She's not worth it. And OP says, I'm not gonna lie, I've had these thoughts too. If nothing more to save face in front of others. As far as my kids, they've gone this long without her, so they aren't missing anything. My wife's parents and family, however, are awesome to them. Spoil them too much, I think, but that could just be the dad in me. A downvoted commenter says, I wouldn't go unless there are parts of this story that you are leaving out. I'm wondering how your anger issues presented in adolescence and childhood. OP says, mostly getting into fights with others at school because they would call me names or try to start fights thinking I wouldn't fight back. I by no means was a perfect kid, but in the end, I was a kid. The story was already super long. There are other parts that made my childhood crap, like made to think I was having a sleepover with my grandma as a surprise, just to find out later from my brother that they, as a family, went to SeaWorld or SD Wild Animal Park or Disneyland as his reward for doing good in school. Never showed up to my choir concerts, so I ended up giving up on that dream and quit singing, which if they had America's Got Talent, I probably would have made it. Not won it, but I was a pretty damn good singer when I was young. Commenter 4 says, your father died. Your mum probably thinks that you might be good to help her financially. I would send a sympathy card and be wary of why they suddenly want you back in their lives. This was my very first thought. If you have a great life, are financially comfortable, she wants in on that. Does your brother know anything about your life now, like what you do for a job, or if you're married with kids? Could he have clued her in on your life? What does your golden brother do now? Is he married or financially stable? Does he speak to your mother? OP says, to tell you the truth, we don't really speak. We send the occasional Christmas card, maybe a happy birthday message, but nothing more than that. Again, he isn't a bad guy, we just took different paths. The way he was treated versus me, I know he knows what's right. But again, as kids, you can't do much about it. I know he has a good job, is married with no kids, so that might be why Mum wants to fix things. And now to the update, January 15th, 2024, same post, next day. Okay, first, holy crap. I didn't think that my post would get so many comments. I tried my best to respond to as many comments as possible as they came in, but after I signed out, I went to go cook dinner and spend time with the family. When I came back, there were hundreds of comments, so although I didn't respond to each one, I did read them all 750 plus, and even had to read some this morning. Second, thank you everyone for taking the time to read my post and then take time out of your day to comment, share your story, post some kind words, and even the few that were blunt about what I should do. Third, at the suggestion of so many of you, I sat with my wife, and we went through the comments together so that she could get a better understanding of where I was coming from. Although some were a little brutal, she understood and apologized for overstepping. I reassured her that her heart was in the right place and that she had nothing to be sorry for. Fourth, at the suggestion of someone who posted that I contact my brother, I did just that. Update time. Okay, folks, I hope you're ready for this shit show of karma that's about to unfold. Strap in and hold on. So I called my brother to talk to him, and I asked him if he had time to talk, and he did. I asked him if he gave my number to his mum, quote-unquote, and he mentioned he did. He thought it would be better to hear about our dad's death from mum than from him. I asked him why I would want to hear from someone who kicked me out at 18 and I've never heard from in 32 years. He was shocked. He told me that mum said that I could stay, but I had to pay rent. But I told them that I would never pay rent and left on my own. As others said in my OP, narcissistic people do and say things to make it about them and make themselves look better. I can't really be surprised at this, to tell you the truth. This is exactly who she was back then, and even now. Make me look like the bad apple, and her/them as the ones who never do wrong. We had a good talk, never getting that sibling/twin bond back, but we did agree to try and at least catch up more instead of Christmas cards and birthday messages. Like I said in my OP, he's not a bad guy. We just walked different paths. So then I asked him why mum wants to reconnect, and why she wants me at the funeral. You guys were right. Turns out that they spent everything they had, their entire lives trying to live like the Joneses. Now that dad is gone, she has nothing to her name. No savings, just the small amount of social security per month and a small portion of my dad's pension, living in a small trailer. They heard that I actually became somebody, and she was telling others that she couldn't wait to see me at the funeral. She was hoping that I could bring my kids so that she could see her grandchildren. She actually told my brother that I would be coming and was hoping that we could fix our relationship. I'm guessing so that she could start asking for money, as many of you said she would do, seeing as though she's dirt poor now. I informed him, after thinking about it, mostly listening to you guys, that I would not be attending, and at no time did I tell his mum I was coming. I feel bad that dad is dead, but I already mourned them years ago. I'm at peace with myself, and his or her deaths are and will be no different than that of a stranger. That I feel it won't be for me if I go. It'll be for his mum and making her look good. I'm not interested in doing anything for her. They wrote me off 32 years ago, and I'm in way better place without her toxicity, narcissism, and lies. I have to give him credit. He wasn't a jerk about it. He understood where I was coming from. I told him, if anyone asks why I'm not there, to tell them the truth or lie. At this point in my life, my immediate family is more important than people who have been absent from my life for 32 years, so I don't really care what he tells them. As far as his mum, I'll be staying no contact and blocking the number that she called me from. My wife and I both agree that it's for the best for me and our family, not only for mental health reasons, but for financial reasons. I didn't work as hard as I did to get where I'm at to lose it all to her. As some of you suggested, I'm going to have a small goodbye for my dad on my own time. Again, thanks internet strangers. I never knew so many random people could be so nice and caring. This old guy truly thanks all of you. In the comments, JJOKOK says, OP doesn't say whether they were identical twins, but damn, even having birthed twins, the narcissist still had to pick a golden child and a black sheep. OP made it easy for his mother though, by being born the weaker twin. By being in NICU for an extended time, he deliberately focused all attention on himself that should have gone to his poor suffering mother for carrying twins for 9 months. That is how OP's mother felt his whole life, I'm sure. Beach Polini says, being that neither she nor her husband bothered to contact him for what is nearly my entire lifespan, I think I might have burst out laughing and just hung up. Lord knows I nearly did when my own father did it after 20. And I regret not having done so. Starclove replies, send a card instead. Sorry to hear your husband died. Be waiting for your turn. Oh my god, that's crazy. Stop Thinking It's Me says, 32 years, hot damn. How do you expect someone to get over that just like that? Jerslam replies, right? That's the part that really gets me. And the twin brother never once questioned what he was told? Like, what the hell? OP owes nothing to his mum at this point. And yeah, my first reaction to this is the first time she's reached out in 32 years was, she wants money. Ain't that the goddamn truth? And it's sad that it's just such a pattern with people like this. And I think there is some truth as well in that OP was in the NICU for too long, and that for some reason she blames him for everything that she went through. And so she continued him being the black sheep as a result of that. OP, you don't owe her a reunion just because time passed. They kicked you out at 18 and then ignored you for 32 years only to pop back up the moment that they needed someone. You're just a humble little convenience to them and nothing else. Yet again, another money bag. And I think the key detail here is the lie that the mother told the twin here, rewriting history to make herself look innocent and somehow OP looking like the ungrateful one. Nothing's changed. There's no accountability, there's no apology. She's just managing her image in the eyes of everyone else and trying to get money out of OP. And I get that OP's wife also came from a stable and healthy family background, but hopefully she sees from all of this that not everyone gets that kind of a family. And that sometimes protecting your peace means keeping the door closed to these kinds of people. OP had to build his own life and his own support system that was denied so many times to him at birth and shoved in his face. Look, your twin brother can get it, but not you. That is so heartless. I think staying no contact is the best way to go. You have to have these boundaries. OP, you're not stopping anyone else from attending the funeral. You're just choosing not to go. You're choosing not to reopen a relationship that never existed in the first place. And I completely agree with that. Not the arsehole. Thank you for the update. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.